Peter was originally a fisherman before becoming an apostle. True, Peter, originally named Simon, was a fisherman by trade. Paul was one of the original 12 apostles chosen by Jesus. False. Paul was not one of the original 12, but became an apostle later. Thomas is often referred to as Doubting Thomas because he doubted Jesus' resurrection. True, Thomas doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw and touched Jesus' wounds. Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. True, Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus to the religious leaders for 30 pieces of silver. John, the apostle, is also known as the author of the book of Revelation. True, John is traditionally believed to have written the book of Revelation. Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times before the rooster crowed. True, Peter denied Jesus 3 times as Jesus had foretold. James, the son of Zebedee, was the first apostle to be martyred. True, James was the first apostle to be martyred, executed by Herod Agrippa. Andrew was the brother of the apostle Paul. False, Andrew was the brother of Peter, not Paul. Matthias was chosen to replace Judas Iscariot as an apostle. True, Matthias was selected to replace Judas after his betrayal and death. Philip brought Nathanael, Bartholomew, to meet Jesus. True, Philip introduced Nathanael to Jesus, leading to his discipleship. James, the son of Alphaeus, is also known as James the Less. True, James the Less is often identified as James, the son of Alphaeus. Thaddeus is also known as Judas, the son of James. True, Thaddeus is another name for Judas, the son of James. Peter walked on water toward Jesus, but began to sink when he doubted. True, Peter briefly walked on water, but began to sink when he lost faith. John was the only apostle to die a natural death. True, John is traditionally believed to have died of old age, unlike the other apostles who were martyred. Paul's original name was Saul. True, Paul was originally named Saul and was a persecutor of Christians before his conversion. Peter was crucified upside down because he felt unworthy to die as Jesus did. True, tradition holds that Peter was crucified upside down in Rome. Bartholomew is believed to have preached in India after the resurrection of Jesus. True, Bartholomew is traditionally believed to have traveled to India to preach the gospel. Simon the Zealot was a member of the political group known as the Zealots before following Jesus. True, Simon the Zealot was likely part of the Zealot movement before becoming an apostle. Matthew was a tax collector before becoming an apostle. True, Matthew was a tax collector, also known as Levi, before following Jesus. Thomas was the only apostle present at the crucifixion of Jesus. False. John is traditionally believed to have been the only apostle present at the crucifixion. Peter was the first apostle to recognize Jesus as the Christ, the Son of God. True, Peter was the first to openly confess Jesus as the Christ, the Son of the living God. James and John were known as the sons of thunder. True, Jesus nicknamed James and John Boanerges, meaning sons of thunder. Paul was blinded by a bright light on the road to Damascus. True, Paul was blinded by a vision of Jesus on the road to Damascus. Judas Iscariot repented after betraying Jesus and returned the silver. True, Judas Iscariot returned the silver and expressed regret before taking his own life. Andrew was the first apostle to be called by Jesus. True, Andrew is traditionally believed to be the first disciple called by Jesus. Peter was known for writing the Gospel of Mark. False. Mark, not Peter, wrote the Gospel of Mark, though Peter's teachings influenced it. James, the brother of Jesus, was one of the original 12 apostles. False. James, the brother of Jesus, was not one of the 12 apostles, but was a leader in the early church. John was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he received the visions recorded in Revelation. True, John was exiled to Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. Paul never met Jesus during his lifetime. False. Paul met Jesus in a vision after the resurrection. The apostles were present at the Last Supper, which was the final meal Jesus shared with them. True, the Last Supper was the final meal Jesus shared with his apostles before his crucifixion. Bartholomew is often identified with Nathanael in the Gospel of John. True, Bartholomew is traditionally considered to be the same person as Nathanael. Peter and John healed a lame man at the temple gate called Beautiful. True, Peter and John performed a miracle, healing a lame man at the temple gate. Simon Peter was the brother of James, son of Zebedee. False. Simon Peter was the brother of Andrew, not James. The Apostle Paul was born in the city of Tarsus. True, Paul, originally Saul, was born in Tarsus, a city in modern-day Turkey. All of the apostles were fishermen before they were called by Jesus. False. Only some of the apostles, like Peter, Andrew, James, and John, were fishermen. Paul wrote more books of the New Testament than any other apostle. True, Paul is credited with writing 13 of the 27 books in the New Testament. Peter and Paul were both martyred in Rome. True, tradition holds that both Peter and Paul were martyred in Rome. John, the apostle, was the last of the apostles to die. True, John is believed to have outlived all the other apostles. James, son of Alphaeus, is also known as the brother of Jesus. False, James, son of Alphaeus, is not the same as James, the brother of Jesus. Paul was known for persecuting Christians before his conversion. True, before his conversion, Saul was a fierce persecutor of Christians. Thaddeus is another name for the apostle Matthew. False, Thaddeus is another name for Judas, son of James, not Matthew. The apostle Philip was responsible for baptizing the Ethiopian eunuch. True, Philip preached to and baptized the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts 8. Peter was given the keys to the kingdom of heaven by Jesus. True, Jesus gave Peter the keys of the kingdom as a symbol of authority. James, the son of Zebedee, and John were martyred on the same day. False, James and John did not die on the same day. James was martyred earlier. Paul was shipwrecked on his way to Rome. True, Paul was shipwrecked on the island of Malta during his journey to Rome. Peter was the apostle who asked Jesus, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life." True, Peter made this declaration in John 6:68 when many disciples turned away. John and Matthew are the only two apostles who wrote Gospels. True, John and Matthew were the only two apostles among the 12 who wrote Gospels. Paul and Silas were imprisoned together in Philippi. True, Paul and Silas were imprisoned together and miraculously freed in Philippi. Bartholomew was also known as Simon the Zealot. False, Bartholomew and Simon the Zealot were two different apostles. The apostle James, son of Zebedee, was known for his peaceful demeanor. False, James was known for his zealous and passionate character, earning him the nickname Son of Thunder.